Okay, today we're looking at lesson 2 for solving inequalities. This is the first video in the series, and let's look at our first example. Let's see what we're going to be learning here. So we're going to be solving inequalities, and we're going to represent their solution on the number line. So by the time you're finished with this lesson, that's what you should be able to do. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the fact that solving inequalities is basically the same as solving equations. You do the inverse operations to solve, but instead of an equal sign, there's an inequality symbol in the place of the equal sign. You can see over here some examples. Okay, and so the difference between solving the inequality is in how we illustrate it. In the process the process is exactly the same. So the only difference is how we display our solutions. So in both an equation and in an inequality, what we're going to do is we do the inverse operation. So here, to get rid of the 2, it's being added, so we subtract. Over here with an inequality, we do the same thing. But with an equation, it says this is exactly equal to it. There's nothing else. So you represent your solution right here on the number line with a single dot. There is only one answer. An inequality, however, says that all my answers, my x values, are all the values that are smaller than, less than, or equal to 3. So 3 is a solution, but everything that is below 3, and we have an arrow there showing everything that is below 3 is also a solution. So let's go on to the next slide. What's going to be important here is that you are going to have to be able to recognize these symbols. You can't just, can't always look at a number to tell what it is. So if you see this symbol standing by itself, it means less than or fewer than. If we put an equal to sign underneath it, that line underneath it, it means it's less than or equal to. Or we may say that it's no more than, okay? Or it does not exceed, or at most. Those all mean that this is less than that. Okay? The greater than symbol right here. And if you have troubles remembering less than and greater than symbols, your left hand, if you put your hand up, the left hand, whoops, there it is. The left hand looks like the less than symbol. The greater than symbol is on the right hand. So greater than, more than, exceeds, those are all words that mean greater than. Greater than or equal to has the line underneath it, at least, or no more than. There's some tricky ones in there because you think when you say at least, people want to use the less than symbol, but it's not. It's got to be the smallest it could be that is that number, but it has to be that number or greater. So you have a greater than symbol. You go back to lesson 1. We talked about a lot of those words in lesson 1. I know it says lesson 2 here, but it is actually lesson 1. Okay, so the most important difference between an inequality and an equation is that every inequality has an infinite number of solutions, not just one. Most equations that you deal with have only one solution. Since inequalities have an infinite number of solutions, we typically show the solutions of an inequality on a number line. The directions we shade and how we represent the starting value depends on what kind of inequality symbol that we are dealing with. The table below can only be used if the variable is on the left-hand side of the equation. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to underline that. It is very important because this doesn't hold true unless, and I'm going to highlight it. You highlight it also. Very important. It only works if the variable is on the left-hand side of the inequality. Okay, if it's not, we're going to rewrite it so that it is. Okay, so let's go up here and uncover what our symbols say right here. Let's get this out of the way. All right, so again, this is the less than symbol. And if we don't have an equal to sign with it, we don't include the that point. It has to be smaller than that point. So we use an open circle. And we would shade to the left. So it would look something similar to this. Okay, oops. So an open circle shading to the left. Okay, on this one, there's a no equal to sign with it. So with that one, it again would be an open circle because there's no equal to, but this time it says greater than. So greater than means we need to shade to the right of that number. So it would look like this. An open circle shaded to the right. Now when we add an equal to sign in there, that changes things. Now the number itself, it can be a solution. So you use a closed circle, you fill it in, and we shade to the left. And if you have a greater than or equal to, you use a closed circle because you can include that solution, and we shade to the right. So let's fill in those and show you how it would look. So a closed circle, closing it in, less than, so you point to the things that are to the left, smaller than. It's got the line underneath it, the equal to sign, and we're saying greater than, so we point to the right. Again, this is only if X is on the left-hand side, and then we use our symbols from there, okay? So let's go on to the next slide. Let's actually solve one of these. Here's a two-step inequality. It solves just the same as an equation. So you've got to get rid of both the 2 and the 4. You get rid of your addition or subtraction first. So you get rid of the 4. So you subtract 4 from both sides. And you would be left with 2x is less than 4. Then you got to get rid of your 2. It's being multiplied, so you divide to undo that. And you would have x is less than 2. No equal to sign. So you go to on your number line to 2. Because 2 is not a solution, 2 is not less than 2, you have to kind of leave a hole right there. 1.99999 is a solution, but not 2. So we do leave an open circle right there. It's kind of like a hole. Less than, these are the numbers to the left that are less than. It goes on forever. Anything to the left is less than that. Okay, you do the U try while I pause.